Is she running for mayor? Another one, Miss Fuller for mayor. So, Councilwoman LeVette Fuller, Adrian Perkins announced last week he's running for re-election.
He did, didn't he?
He did. Are you contemplating at all running for mayor of Shreveport?
Right now, I'm working on my district. That's what I'm doing. I am looking out for what I can do in District B.
Have you been approached by any folks, I know the answer is yes, about possibly running for mayor?
Not like in an official way, but people ask a lot, and I tell them the same thing I just told you. I really am just trying to do what I came here to do for my district.
Okay, here you go. You know me, so you know. What kind of mayor would LeVette Fuller be?
I don't think in those terms. I'd rather think about what kind of mayor we need and take an inventory on that. I think a lot of times we see, it's instead of saying this is what we need in a leader, we're saying, well, out of the pool of people I see in front of me, this will do. But we need someone who has a clear vision for this area. We need someone that loves our community, sees our not just our potential, but the actual value in what we have now, and is focused on some sort of strategy to get us where we need to be as far as economic growth, as far as what the city should look like in 10, 20, 30 years. We need someone whose eye is on what's going to do the most good for the most people for the longest time. We need someone who is going to be ready to work with the council, that understands what their role is and what the council's role is ready to work with a chief administrative officer who can work as a city manager, and with as little politics on that as possible. We need someone that's ready to actually just to do the job, to really be ready to do some really boring work, as well as looking at the high-minded big picture stuff. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen in Shreveport right now. We need to be saying not who's good enough out of who's in front of us, but who can actually do what we need them to do.
What's your biggest asset?
What do you mean?
What is your most valuable?
Are you still interviewing me for a job I just told you I'm not trying to get?
Yeah, you know me. Okay, let's turn it. What's your biggest flaw? If it's
procrastination.
Okay.
And I chase squirrels. I'm really ADD. When I'm focused, and when I'm not. I tell you guys all the time, like I can't keep up with my keys and my phone at the same time. Why are y'all asking me to do this? I lost my phone twice last week. Or not lost. Once was here. I put my phone down and forgot and had to go back and get it. And then next was when I was doing a speaking engagement the very next day. I'm a little absent-minded about little stuff. But I guess if we're going to talk about assets, I'm solution oriented, and I think that obstacles are opportunities.
Are you a micromanager?
No. I understand that there are details that need to be attended to, and I know that one of my weaknesses is that I don't want to be bogged down in how many grains of rice are in the bag, but I do want to make sure that we are taking care of things and accountable for those little things when we're talking dollars and cents. But on the other side, I think that you have to have a balance of the big picture. And I think that micromanaging of people when you are a leader and a manager is oppressive, and it keeps people from being able to do their work. I believe in hiring the best people for the job, holding them accountable, but trusting them to do the work. One thing that I think has been missing for a while, and it's something that I attribute to Mayor Glover and his relationship with Stephen Jackson, Commissioner Jackson now, he put him in a position where he could research and be curious and bring ideas to the table. And he gave him a chance to take ownership of those things. I think that the mayor in Alexandria for a long time, Jacques Roy, did a lot of that by having a lot of young people that were policy advisors, and that gave them an opportunity to take ownership of the city and be community minded and grow to leadership. And I don't know that we do enough of that in Shreveport. I think we do a lot of wait your turn. It's not your turn yet. We'll give you the keys when we're ready to give you the keys.
You are polling in our Keel poll, our unscientific Keel poll. Jim Talaferro is leading at 25%. Brian Crawford second at 16%. LeVette Fuller is third in our poll with over 15.5%.
See, all of you people are asking me to run. You're not even voting for me in an unscientific poll.
Mind you, you know that the demographic in
Yeah.
our poll is obviously skewed
Super
and
conservative,
is
yeah.
a little bit different.
Right.
But I want to ask you this. My son, I've quoted him over and over again. My oldest son, I asked him, I said, do you think you'll settle down in Shreveport? And he looked at me kind of with your stink eye, and he said,
We call it side eye.
side eye, my bad. And he said, why? And I said, what do you mean, why? He goes, this looks like a town nobody cares about. How can we look like a town somebody cares about
We have
quickly?
to start caring, and we have to stop waiting for someone else to be first.
What do you do? What's on your list of things to do to make
Number
this?
one is just clean up. I went on a drive. My group Reform Shreveport. We went on a drive with some constituents, some citizens in Caddo Heights, Hollywood area, and Cedar Grove, and they showed us things, and we were basically making a list of how can we affect the built environment. And the biggest issue that everyone talks about all over my district is blight. And property standards is doing what they can within their capacity. But whenever I start talking about this, or whenever I hear property standards talk about it, there's always a deep breath before you start hearing all the hoops you have to jump through in the bureaucratic process to be able to take care of those issues. We could have probably a 10-point break in some of our mental health issues and crime if we just clean up. I drive around all over the city. My dad lives in Keithville, so I drive down Colquitt Road a lot, and I'll take Crabapple, Southland Park that way. And I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus because I see it in my district too. But I look up and I'm like, is there one piece of this city that people care enough that they don't trash it?
Yeah.
Our self-esteem is so low, but we're waiting on someone else to pick it up. We're waiting on
Right.
someone else, like maybe we'll follow suit, but we're waiting for somebody else to do it. I keep a trash grabber and bags in my car all times. People see me out. I will like just stop and I'll be picking up trash. It hasn't happened in a while, but I do it. Like I pick up on my street. I freak out when people don't pull their trash cans back up. Just little simple things that show that you have some esteem and some care for your community. I think that we start seeming like places where people care when we actually care, you know?
One last thing.
And that's full circle back to what we were talking about with the whole hate thing earlier in that ripple effect, you know?
Got another message for you. LeVette's biggest asset is her mind. That's
Oh,
nice.
well, thank you.
That was very sweet. One last question for our last minute here. When is your drop dead date for a decision? You know, you hear people saying.
I mean, I'm
Do you
not
have
even
something in your
thinking in
calendar?
those terms. Honestly, like what bothers me most right now is so many people that want a job without really thinking about everything that goes into that job. That's a hard job. If I run, it's because I feel that I need to run, not because I want to run. The last thing I want to do is go head to head with someone who's been like a colleague to me in his position as mayor while I'm on the city council, and then just step up and be like, well, I think that I can do what you can't, and I'm going to run. It takes a lot of ego to do that. If I'm running, it's because I really believe that there's something that I have to add to the city and that it can't wait. But right now, I'm not thinking those terms. I'm trying to figure out how to do the best thing for my district.